It has now been 6 months since the conclusion of the sequel trilogy with The Rise of Skywalker. So, we are reflecting on the sequels. What did we love? What did we hate? And what do we wish was in the sequels? Find out on this week's episode of Mando Talk. Welcome back, all of you Ugnaughts and Jawas out there. This is Mando Talk, and I'm your host, Caleb Keller, and we're going to have a good episode for you this week. As you heard on the introduction, it's a topic that I'm really excited to discuss, and to help me with this topic, my brother is back. Jacob Keller, what is up, and how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Welcome. This is going to be a good time.
Yeah, and before we get going, I don't know why, but I'm feeling very appreciative today. I just got that vibe going. So I just wanted to quickly say thank you to all of our dedicated listeners. We do continue to grow piece by piece each week, but I know that the people that have been there since day one are still out there. So I just real quickly wanted to give a shout out to all of you guys. Keep on listening. And again, if you're a new listener and you kind of miss new Star Wars content, go back and watch season 1 of The Mandalorian and then listen to our chapter reviews, because we did them the night that they came out, and we sat down, we reviewed them together. And to be fair, we were very much new to podcasting.
We were newbies. We were rookies.
With chapter 1. So if you listen to chapter 1 and you're like, man, these guys, they struggle.
Yeah.
Give us some time. We were just Star Wars fans that were really excited to talk about The Mandalorian, the new TV show. Mm-hmm. So go back, check that out if you have not done so already. And we will now get into this week's discussion. So generally, we start the show going over Star Wars news. Okay, but this week we didn't really have any big thing that came out, although there were a couple of things. So I real quickly wanted to touch on those. And we've talked about this one actually before. The Star Wars Episode 1 Racer video game has been released.
The podcast? The
pod racing. Yeah. The pod racing
game. Racing game.
And it's only been released on Nintendo Switch and PS4. So I know that previously we actually talked about playing it in studio together before we started recording the show. We have not, or at least on my PlayStation, I have not purchased it yet.
We should get a Switch and a Switch account. Isn't that one of them? And
Twitch, you mean?
Twitch.
And stream.
Yeah. That just shows how much I know about them. We should get one of those and, stream us playing the game, and it'd be like Mando Talk.
Mando
Talk, Mando
plays. I don't know.
Mando games or something.
Mando games. Hey, I mean, that would be fun. You'd probably see a lot of bad sides of us because I think we're a pretty competitive group.
Yeah.
I don't think I've played this game before. Have you?
Is it like a split screen game?
I think it...
I don't know how to talk today. I just said split screen.
You remember the racing game that we used to have on Sega?
Which one?
I don't remember what it's called, but it was like split screen.
Yeah.
I think it's like that.
It was like pixelated.
Right. But obviously I think they've remastered
it.
I think they've remastered the the racer game. So yeah, I guess it's probably split screen. Again, I haven't played this game before. So have you haven't played the game before either?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so neither of us have played the game, but regardless, we need to figure out some more details about this so we can play it here in studio.
Yeah.
And I want to say that
we should record it for the audience.
Yeah,
too,
I think we could.
That would be a lot of fun.
I think we could use it either as just like a YouTube special or, like you said, start Twitch, but I don't know about that. I mean, but yeah, that'd be fun. I believe the only detail that I know about the game is that it's $14.99.
Oh, yeah.
To get it for PS4. I'm not sure about Switch. Again, I haven't done that yet, but I think it will be exciting for us to do that before the show. Like when all of us are here, I think that'd be a good way for us to get all amped up and going, ready to debate each other and argue with each other on the podcast.
Ready for No and BA to start tearing at each other's throats, arguing about the sequels.
Yep, exactly. And I kind of wish that they were here for this discussion this week, but fight! So yeah, let us know in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube. Let us know if you would like to see us do that. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it would. I'm remembering that old game though. Like
Yeah, the Sega game, the racing.
How if you missed a turn or whatever, you would go flying
Oh
off
yeah.
the road. It would
Oh
make
yeah.
the sound effect.
I would say the games are very similar, but again, I haven't played Racer before, and I really want to because I've heard a lot of people talk about how amazing it is.
Yeah.
So I'll have to check it out. Let us know if you've been playing the game. Let us know what you think about it. If you're playing the game right now, that means you've probably played it before and you're just kind of on nostalgia playing it again.
Mm-hmm.
So let us know what you think if you've checked that out. So that was the one thing that came out this week. Again, not huge, but something to mention, something to talk about. And the next thing is the first novel of the High Republic series that Lucasfilm or Star Wars is putting out. They have released the first chapter on IGN to preview, and that the book's title is Star Wars Light of the Jedi, and it will be released in January of 2021. So we got a ways to wait to see the rest of this novel. Yep. I have not read the entire chapter. I just checked out a little bit of it. I didn't read it all.
Yeah.
But I got into it.
What do you think?
I feel it. I dig it. I'm okay. I've read novels. Star Wars novels before. Lost Stars is my favorite. I got it over there on the bookshelf.
Yeah.
But honestly, I've never been a great reader. Not great as in I'm a good reader as in ability. Great as in I can't stay committed to it. I mean,
you can't get immersed into it,
right?
And put time aside every day.
Yeah, but if this High Republic thing if they're putting as much effort into it as I believe they are, I think I might invest in reading the stuff they put out, at least the novel part of it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it? I know you probably haven't had a chance to read it yet, but just in general, if you're excited for the High Republic canon content they're putting out, or what you're looking forward to, maybe.
I'd like to see a little bit into that, and I figure if we want to talk about it here on the podcast and you want to read it, then I'll read it too.
We'll do a read-along podcast.
Yeah.
No, we'd probably get in trouble for that, but
yeah.
That's what audiobooks are for.
Yeah.
But yeah, check that out if you haven't. Again, I wasn't committed as I should have been. I didn't read it all, but I need to check the rest of that out.
Yeah.
I look forward to...
Is it a long chapter?
Not really.
Okay.
I look forward to, because I know on the cover they got those lightsabers with the cross guards, like the legit sword cross guards.
Okay.
Not lightsaber there, but it's like a legit sword.
Oh, yeah. With a hilt.
Right. Yeah, that's what, yeah. And I'll be interested to see or read more about that.
That's cool.
Yeah. And more about the Wookiee that's on the cover that's a Jedi.
Oh.
Now, I will say this. When they first released that image, a lot of people were like, oh, look, we finally got our first Wookiee Jedi. Don't forget about the Clone Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
Where we got that little Wookiee that's training and getting his saber. And there might be another one.
The Padawan Wookiee.
Yeah. But anyway, those two things are the only Star Wars news or information that came out this week. So, again, kind of light as far as news goes, but two things to quickly discuss, and let us know what you think of that first chapter of Light of the Jedi if you've had a chance to read it. And again, if you have not read it, if you'll just search Star Wars Light of the Jedi IGN, it'll be the first thing that pops up on Google. So check that out if you have not done so already.
One more thing I gotta ask you.
Go for it.
Does it give setting?
Oh yeah.
Is it cool?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You'll have to check it out. You'll have to check it out.
Okay.
All right. We are now ready for our main topic. Now, I'll say this before we get into it.
The sequels.
I could probably spend
It's too bad BA isn't here.
Yeah. I could probably spend 5 to 6 hours talking about the sequels.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to try to keep it lighter, I guess, because, we'll be in here all night. But like we've teased at the top, we're going to try to hit on things that we hated We're going to get the bad out of the way first. Let's do that first.
Okay.
Then we're going to talk about the things that we loved. And then we're going to talk about things that we wish would have been executed in the sequels. Okay, now again, let me remind those listening. The reason why we wanted to do this, I mean, it was a lighter week for number one with the news. And also, we are now 6 months after The Rise of Skywalker release. That's crazy to me because it feels like it was just yesterday where we all watched that movie together.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me, too, like the change of reaction for the fan base after 6 months. Like, I feel like generally, and it might have been, I just didn't see it. I feel like generally, though, when The Rise of Skywalker came out, it was enjoyed for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And that might have just been like the people that I see on social medias and everything. But then now over time, I feel like people are liking it kind of less.
That's the way it goes, though, well, don't you think?
Well, I don't know, because you think about the prequels now. People love the prequels now because
over
that
time,
generation that grew up watching those, that grew up loving Jar Jar Binks because those kids thought that Jar Jar was hilarious.
Oh,
they
I think
love
I saw
the prequels.
a meme. I think I saw a meme that kind of explains why people love the prequels now.
All right, what was it?
Well, think about how we used to dig on Attack of the Clones.
Oh, yeah. Attack of the Clones is my least favorite.
Well, think of how we used to dig on that so much, but now we don't. We don't so much anymore because now we've got something that we can say is even worse.
You think so?
No, I don't think so, but that's what the meme said.
Okay, I got you. Well, I will say this. Before we even dig into this, I think Star Wars is, a lot of it is generational. Yeah. And I think here in about 10 to 15 years, we'll see the kids that grew up adoring Rey and
probably
Poe and Finn and Kylo and all those characters. You'll hear noise about how good the sequels are. So it's just a repeating process. I'm sure whenever they come out with a new trilogy or whatever's next, I'm sure there'll be haters. And then the kids, when those came out, will make some noise when they get older. So it's just a repeating process. But I will say before we get into it.
When they come out with the Lord of the Rings style Old Republic series.
Okay, here we go. If you guys out there have not seen this picture that's floating around, it's like some art for a future novel in canon. Well, I don't even know if it's canon because they sell it as like, here, read these ghost stories that Luke or Leia might have been told as kids. So you know how as kids we're told ghost stories. They might be true. They might not be true.
That's interesting.
So I guess it's kind of up to the reader's interpretation.
But ghost stories often do have a basis in reality.
That's true. And you kind of think, I mean, I love Game of Thrones, so let me make a Game of Thrones reference. People throughout Westeros were told that White Walkers weren't real.
Yeah.
They were real. So, I mean, okay, anyway, there's this picture that's floating out there. It's like this Sith Lord with like a curved lightsaber and like a golem-looking creature at his waist, basically.
Yeah.
On Exegol.
Mm-hmm.
Man. And yeah, I texted you and I was like, look, that looks like Lord of the Rings meets Star Wars, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, I would be too.
Gosh, I wish they would do something like that.
I would be too.
Yeah. Star Wars, man, please do something like that. All right, let's get into the sequels. Let's reflect on the sequels and let's have some fun. Let's try not to get heated. I know BA's not here. He would probably get
you're
heated.
Not going to have to worry about that since he's not here.
All right, so the first thing that we are going to discuss as we're reflecting on the sequels is the things that we hated. Now, I know that's a strong word, but
hate.
Yeah, it's not very Jedi way to have hate.
No, it's not.
But we're going to become Sith on this section.
I guess you got to have balance.
That's true. That's very true.
Bring balance to the conversation.
Yeah. Okay, now, I've got a list prepared. So I'll hit the first one. Whenever I hit the things on my list, if you want to add to it, go for it. Okay, the first one on my list, and I think it's the most obvious. And even if you adore the sequels, I think almost everyone should probably come to a realization of this one, and that's the lack of continuity or vision throughout the entire process.
Yeah.
Again, I've always said that I'm okay with directors changing from film to film. However, before that happened, they should have came up with an overall, at least outline for the whole thing. And it's very clear to me that that just doesn't happen. I mean, you got with The Force Awakens, you think Rey could be a Skywalker, you think she could be a Kenobi. Then The Last Jedi hits, and you think Rey's a nobody. And then The Rise of Skywalker hits, and Rey's a Palpatine. Now, I'll get more into that later. But I think once Palpatine was signed up for Episode 9, I feel like that was kind of an obvious thing for me, that she would be a Palpatine. And I know that conversation right there is a lot of the focus as far as continuity goes.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it just goes from place to place almost. Thoughts on that? You probably agree.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've stated it before many times, and, I guess I can say it again, like I agree 100% with that.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most upsetting. I don't want to say upsetting, though. It's the thing that was off to me about the sequels.
Yeah, and like we were talking about earlier, prequels, I mean, you can hate them all you want to, but at least there was continuity.
Yeah.
There was a vision from start to finish. You just don't you just don't really get that with these. And
yeah,
that's a really hard thing to look over, honestly.
Yeah. And you can just tell it, and maybe all of the other, if continuity was there, that would probably make any other things that we hated about it that much easier to look over.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
You're 100% correct, I think. Absolutely. Okay. Second one. Unless you have anything else to say about the continuity. All right. Second thing that I put.
Yeah, that's my number one, too, though.
Yeah, I would say so. Like I said when I introduced it, I think that's something that even people that love these films probably can realize. But yeah, second thing on my list of things that I hated from the sequels was that Snoke was just a puppet clone. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like Snoke. I know a lot of people, as soon as he was introduced in The Force Awakens, they were like, this guy, who cares? There's no backstory here.
Yeah.
I don't really care about this dude. He's just huge in a hologram. Move on. I was one of the ones that loved Snoke.
Yeah, I did too.
The way that he was introduced in The Force Awakens was so mysterious. And as a Star Wars sweaty, I was thinking, this is Plagueis. This is Plagueis. We're fixing to get detail about the story or the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. You would think that people there are smart enough to make those connections to pay off the fans. It didn't happen. Thoughts on it? Thoughts on Snoke? Because I don't even know if I fully know your thoughts on Snoke.
Yeah?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I like Snoke. And I'm actually... I'm actually okay with... I would be... I would be 100% on board with him being a clone and a controlled servant of Darth Sidious if it was just made more clear, like hints were given to that in The Last Jedi. You know what I mean?
Right. If it, again, going back to continuity.
Yeah.
I feel you on that.
Like, I would 100% be on board with that because, Palpatine is... He's out there in the Outer Rim, in the unknown regions, and he's trying to set things up. So you got to have something there to project your power, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but it just cuts him. He gets cut in half.
Yeah.
And then we're brought to The Rise of Skywalker.
Right.
And, all of a sudden it's Palpatine all along.
Yeah, and I'll say this, like, I loved Kylo Ren killing Snoke in that moment.
Me too.
I loved that.
I was like...
And I thought it...
Whoa,
honestly, I'll say... And I know this is controversial. I'm not saying that Kylo Ren is better by any means. But him doing that, to me, when I was watching The Last Jedi, separated Vader and Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Not saying that Kylo Ren was more powerful or anything. I'm not even saying that at all.
Yeah.
But it changed the way that I viewed the character to where I didn't see as many similarities anymore.
Yeah.
Because I thought, okay, this guy is legit all about being the dude of the First Order. He does not care about his master. He wants to be the dude. And I know Vader kind of talks about it and hints about it, but he never really acts on it until
he never
the very
acts
end
on his hatred against his master.
Right.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I love that moment.
Most of Darth Vader's hatred is against himself.
Right.
Yeah.
So I love that moment, but again, we never got backstory for Snoke until it was a complete, like, oh, here's our answer.
Yeah.
Oh, you see him in that tube over there? Oh, okay. Make assumptions. Move on to the next.
Yeah.
Man. And again, I know people out there didn't care about Snoke at all initially. I was just one of the ones that was kind of interested because I thought it was Plagueis.
And I thought it would be cool after seeing Snoke die and obviously riling Kylo Ren up to the point that he would kill him. Right. I was wondering if maybe he knew that Kylo Ren was going to kill him right there, and he did that on purpose. And he allowed himself to die on purpose.
So are you saying as Snoke or Palpatine controlling him?
Originally, I thought as Snoke,
I gotcha.
As maybe something more like the dark side itself, not manifesting as Sidious.
Yeah.
But as just the dark side of the Force itself working through this Snoke, purposely did that to make Kylo Ren, you know what I mean? Something like that.
Like Kylo Ren darker and stronger?
To make him become more like the brother in the Clone Wars,
The brother in the Clone Wars. Oh, on Mortis?
Yeah.
I gotcha. No, okay, I can see that. I can 100% see that.
Yeah.
And kind of the last thing that I'm thinking while we're here on Snoke is when they first announced that Palpatine was coming back in Episode 9, I was just kind of hoping that Snoke just became his apprentice.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have to make it some big clone theory, in my mind. I was just kind of hoping that maybe when Palpatine, before Darth Vader killed him, we don't even know if he was killed, I guess, before Darth Vader got rid of Palpatine, that Palpatine felt darkness through the Force, and he found this Snoke guy way out in the unknown regions, and that was his backup plan. And those two, once Snoke just became his apprentice, and that was what I was thinking going into The Rise of Skywalker. That would have been enough information for me to get on board with it, to feel the continuity a little bit.
Yeah.
But complete curveball. Any other thoughts on Snoke? No?
Well, we could probably keep talking all day.
Yeah, we probably could. Snoke, just a missed opportunity for me.
Yeah.
But again, there's people out there that don't care, so.
I like Snoke. We just both wish that clearer connections were made, or that he would have been the guy.
Yeah.
All along.
100% agree.
Yeah.
100% agree. All right. Third thing that I hated about the sequels is Finn's character arc.
I think Nolan would agree with you
Probably.
there.
Now, The Force Awakens. Finn, I don't think Nolan liked Finn.
Oh, he was awesome.
I loved Finn in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And
Jinx again.
Yeah. I thought that Finn was going to become a Jedi eventually.
Yeah.
Like, I knew that Rey was going to be the main Jedi after The Force Awakens. Like, I think everyone knew that.
Yeah.
I still don't see why that prevents Finn from being a Jedi too, though. That would have been so cool
with her, or
exactly.
under her, even.
And The Rise of Skywalker does Finn a little bit more justice.
Yeah,
his character is more interesting. He's more involved.
You can tell that he's Force sensitive.
Yeah, and he keeps hinting at it.
Yeah.
But The Last Jedi, man, he just goes downhill. And I loved Finn. I loved the idea of a rogue stormtrooper.
Yeah. That goes and fights against
and becomes a Jedi.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? that would have been so cool. And I guess he probably does become a Jedi, but we don't see it.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Finn?
I agree, 100%. You know?
Yeah. And two, okay, I know we're going back quite a bit of years here. The first teaser that they put out, the first thing that we see is Finn in a stormtrooper gear.
Man, that takes me back.
And if you look at this Force Awakens poster over here, Finn's got the lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
This whole time, the promotion throughout the Force Awakens made Finn look like he could be the dude for the entire trilogy.
Yeah.
Curveball. And he just becomes a soldier, basically. He just uses the lightsaber.
A soldier who has a side chick.
Yeah, there you go. He's got love interests everywhere. I mean, I thought that he loved Rey in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Then they go to Rose in The Last Jedi, and then they got Janna in The Rise of Skywalker. Man, Finn's a player. Finn's got something going on.
Yeah, I guess so.
So yeah, okay.
It's not continuity though.
I guess that's true. Finn's character arc would be my third thing that I hated out of the sequels. Now, fourth one. This is a big one for me, and I love this character to death. But fourth thing that I hated was Palpatine's return. Again, when they first released The Rise of Skywalker and we heard the trailer and we heard his laugh at the very end, sign me up. Because Palpatine, like I said, I love the dude. Yeah. Love the character. Not necessarily the things that he does. Love the dude as in the character.
Yeah.
But the execution, and I was I wanted to see Supreme Leader Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
But he turns into just the secondary dude again, which disappointed me.
Yeah.
Thoughts on
it? Again, I gotta agree, man. We're 100% on the same page. I think.
All right. Okay. That's good. That's good.
I do have one thing that you don't have listed though, so we're gonna talk about that.
Okay. Cool. All right. Fifth thing.
The one thing about Palpatine's return though. You know what? I'm just thinking. Yeah, it would have been really cool if Kylo Ren was
Supreme Leader,
the bad, and
yeah, I know, man.
What do you think about my theory about what could have happened with him being like the dark side manifested, like the brother?
That'd have been cool. I will say it's,
and then Rey
for people like us,
Rey would be like the light side manifested as the sister.
For people like us and the diehard Star Wars fans, we would be on board.
Yeah.
But I get from the business side of it, they gotta appeal to everyone.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be a little too complex.
How? They already did it though. Remember the what did Sidious call it?
Oh, the dyad.
The dyad.
Okay,
they already did it.
Okay, I feel you. I see you.
Uh-huh.
It'd be interesting, and it would definitely add a layer to Kylo. No doubt.
Yeah.
So many missed opportunities there. But yeah, Palpatine. What? I'm just like getting sad over here thinking about all these things.
We shouldn't get sad.
Okay, let's move on. Palpatine's return, that really bums me out because I was so excited about him coming back, and it was just like
it would have been so cool if there were like hints to it in The Last Jedi.
Okay, think about this. Everyone would have been perfectly, because you would have had more time at the beginning of The Rise of Skywalker to explain Palpatine being there.
Yeah.
If all you did at the end of The Last Jedi, instead of Broom Boy, you get a tease that Palpatine's back. You hear his laugh. Or just kind of like how we see Rey meet Luke at the end of The Force Awakens to get us ready for the next one.
Yeah.
At the end of The Last Jedi, instead of Broom Boy, it should have been somehow Palpatine.
Maybe it could have been his galactic
broadcast
announcement.
Yeah, the broadcast could have been heard. and maybe the way that ends is like Kylo hears it or feels it, and then he proceeds to take off and find him. And maybe he ends on Exegol. And then that way in The Rise of Skywalker, you've got time to explain how that happened. But again, that goes back to continuity. I'm getting angry. All right, let's move on. Let's get away from Palpatine. Jeez. Okay. Fifth thing that I hated about the sequels, simply Canto Bight. Everything about that planet. I mean, I don't want to see Vegas in Star Wars. I mean, come on now. And then Finn and Rose,
I think it would have been cool if instead of Rose and instead of Finn having any love interest at all, instead he should have become a Jedi.
Yeah.
But instead of him having Rose there, it should have been Maz. And that's one thing that I dislike that you didn't think of is I wish they did more with Maz.
Dude, that's a good point because I loved Maz in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Super interesting.
Mm-hmm. And she was like smarmy, but in a good way.
And let me add to that.
But at the same time, knowledgeable about the Force and the Jedi.
So I agree with you. Maz, I think, should have been in Canto Bight.
Yeah.
Or more involved with Canto Bight than just a hologram telling him to go.
Yeah.
And also to add to that, the code breaker should have been Lando.
Yeah.
Because that would have been a perfect reintroduction to him instead of what we got. I mean, he's just randomly on, I believe it's Kijimi in The Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
We have no clue how he got there. I mean, we wouldn't have known how. Well, actually, they tell us how Lando's there is because Lando and Luke went on a mission there, and I guess Lando never left, or maybe he got a new clue and he went back. What was I saying before that though?
It would have been more continuity if he was there.
It would have made more sense. Okay, yeah. It makes more sense for Lando's character to be in a place called like Canto Bight.
Yeah, playing that
Sabacc.
card game. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay, and so maybe it's not necessarily like the atmosphere of Canto Bight that I don't like, but maybe the payoff to it.
Yeah.
There was what they did nothing. That mission was a bomb.
I mean, they got on the ship, but
yeah,
they didn't end up destroying it.
And that's another character, DJ, that just kind of shows up and goes away.
Yeah.
He doesn't come back, which I was okay with, but I wonder what he's up to. You think he's still out there? Probably doing crazy things.
Wasn't he on the ship when it got cut in half?
I thought they had said that he escaped. Because I thought that he took their ship.
Okay.
And that's why Finn and Rose and BB-8 have to take the Imperial.
Huh. Okay.
I don't remember. I need to rewatch The Last Jedi. I think we're digging into some deep stuff there. But yeah, it was just the payoff of Canto Bight, and I didn't really dig the horses.
Again, I think it would have been okay if it was Maz and Finn there. And they find Lando.
Yeah, and let me retract on the horses thing. I would have been okay with it if it had been a little shorter. I felt like they spent a lot of time with that little horse chase. But yeah, because just I don't know, Canto Bight just kind of hits me in the wrong feelings. That's why I added it on the list. And the last one on my list of hated, man, we've been spending a long time there.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker's actions in The Last Jedi. And by that, I mean it just didn't feel like Luke when we see him again. And I get it. Like, I get that over time, characters or people in general change.
Yeah.
But he became like an old hermit that didn't want to do anything for the good, and he just kind of sat on an island and watched the world burn, basically.
Yeah.
That just doesn't seem like Luke Skywalker to me.
No.
And I get for probably the idea was probably for Rey's character to be like that new spark of hope for Luke, to where Luke's like, all right, I'm back in the action. But yeah, that
You mean when JJ ended it
right
with Rey meeting Luke?
Yeah, I thought. See,
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna get like Yoda in Luke, basically. Like
Oh
we
yeah,
were
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
see Luke be the Yoda for
Mhm.
Rey, almost.
Were you expecting that Luke would come back and fight?
Oh, 100%. And I'm actually gonna get into that later
Okay.
when we get to the wish segment.
Okay.
Any other things in as far as the hated segment that we need to discuss? Because I know I went through a list, and I know you said you only had like one more thing, which was the Maz thing. Is there anything else though that you've kind of thought of over this segment?
Um. Hmm. You know, just random little things, kind of like the Sith Trooper just thrown in there.
Yeah, just for looks.
Yeah, for just for looks.
Basically,
It would have been
kind of like the Death Troopers in Rogue One, but they're getting more action now in the Mandalorian, so we'll see on that. But keep going. Sorry.
Maybe it would have made more sense if they were somehow connected to. If it was made clear that they were like a lower regiment of the private guards of Snoke's.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
Maybe the Last Jedi, they were like that.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have.
Just little stuff like that. That's all I can think of right now.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a bunch of itty bitty tiny things that I could think of, but I mean, we would be here all night. All right, let's move on. Let's get happy. Let's get positive. Let's have some fun.
Because we actually still love these movies because they're Star Wars.
Exactly. So let's move on to the things that we loved from the sequels segment. I've got 5 things listed. Again, if you got things that you want to throw in there, do it. First thing, Kylo Ren. Best character in the entire trilogy.
Yeah? Isn't he one of your favorite characters?
Oh, yeah. I'd say he's top 3. I love Kylo Ren. The Force Awakens, when they first introduced him, yeah, he was kind of a bratty teenager almost. But, man, him killing Han and then seeing him struggle with it and his performance in The Last Jedi, and I know that's more specifically on Adam Driver, but Kylo Ren in the Last Jedi, that's when Kylo Ren became legit for me. And I loved his lightsaber. I was one of the ones that thought it was awesome. And
me too.
I'm overall kind of satisfied with his ending in The Rise of Skywalker. But it's sad because like I said, he is one of my favorite characters, so I wish I could see him again. But I guess we're not going to. Thoughts on Kylo Ren? Ben Solo. Other than he is awesome. He's one of the best.
He is. I think so, too. I was just thinking about that the other day, thinking about how much you love him.
Yep.
And the reasons why, I kind of agree. He's just got a great arc, Yeah,
he does.
And despite that's an odd thing, ain't it? Despite the lack of continuity, there is continuity in his arc.
Yeah, his is
right?
Legit. Yeah. 100%. I agree. Except the Romeo and Juliet kiss at the end. I felt like that was a little misplaced, but because I wasn't getting love vibes from them at all, but hey.
Yeah, me either.
But yeah.
Well, I don't. Well,
I got more of a brother-sister thing out of him instead of like relationship.
I don't know. I'm not good at romance or detecting romance.
Hey, it's tough. It's a tough world out there. But yeah, Kylo Ren loved all that. Every scene that he was in, I was hooked. And I have / Ben Solo. Just real quickly on that, whenever he's in Exegol and he like turns around and does like the Han Solo shot, that was so cool. Oh gosh, that was so cool. All right, second thing that I loved, and this is actually The Last Jedi here, the connection between Rey and Kylo through the Force throughout The Last Jedi was superb. It was phenomenal.
That's probably my number one.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing that brings it all together, I feel like. That's one thing in these 3 movies that is very continuous. continuous.
There you go. Yeah, I agree 100%.
Probably the most continuous thing is their dyad, as Sidious called it.
Right.
In the Force. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like if Snoke hadn't have said that he merged their minds, I feel like that dyad thing would have paid off a little bit more. Because I feel like it would have been like, oh, they can do this on their own because they're a dyad. Yeah. But in The Last Jedi, they pose it as, well, Snoke caused it, so are they a dyad? You know, you kind of feel what I'm saying? Like, because they're a dyad.
What if he just said that, though?
So you think it's one of those situations,
to mess with them.
To like twist their minds?
Yeah.
To, like you said earlier, to make Kylo Ren really angry at him and kill him.
Yeah.
Because that's what sets him off. That's what makes him want to kill him, is him saying, well, I did that. Y'all aren't special.
Yeah.
But yeah, not Force Awakens, Last Jedi, every time that they Force Skype, I know that's what we like to call it, awesome. Shirtless Kylo Ren, I mean, you can't beat it.
I saw a GIF. Have you seen it?
Probably.
Where he's hopping, and then his man boobies go up and down.
Yeah, I think I've seen it.
But yeah, that's one of my favorite parts about the sequels is their connection in the Force.
Yeah.
And to me, it really is like, it really does make me think of the brother-sister on Mortis.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
It's a good point. And I didn't even think to, because I say in my note I only have The Last Jedi, but it even happens in The Rise of Skywalker a lot too, where he reaches out and gets the necklace in order to follow to where she is. And then the battle is on Kijimi. I think earlier I said the sand planet was Kijimi. Kijimi's the snowy planet where she's on the ship. Oh, yeah. She's on the ship and he's on the planet looking for her, and they're fighting through the Force.
Yeah.
With this Force connection because of this dyad. And I know this is kind of, well, it's not off topic. This is something I loved. The way that was shot and the way that all the lightsaber battles throughout the sequel trilogy was shot was awesome. And I know the one I'm specifically thinking of on Kijimi between Kylo and Rey, whenever like they use Kylo's body as the transition from locations, like as the swipe screen, his black character look is like the swipe screen. That was incredible for me.
Yeah.
I love Rey and Kylo's Force connection. I love the connection that those two have throughout the trilogy.
What about their fight against the guards, Snoke's guards?
That was cool too.
Oh, and when I saw that, that's still probably one of my favorite fights in all of Star Wars.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel you on that.
Just because they murked them.
Yeah.
But it was so skillful, and you could tell they were skillful too.
Oh, yeah.
But they still murked them.
Yeah, Kylo goes off, Rey goes off, and it's more toward Adam Driver in this situation. But and whenever he's trying to persuade her to his side, golly, the acting in that scene I thought was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Jeez. Props to Adam
Driver.
And
it wasn't like, you know, the lightsabers twirling kind of fight.
Right.
It was more like they're actually fighting with swords. You know what I mean?
No, I get that 100%. And I believe that...
And there wasn't any force power involved, really. Right? If I remember correctly.
Not really, I don't think. It's been a while. I mean, other than him slicing Snoke in half to begin with.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, the majority, if it's in there somewhere, at least the majority of it is pure strength.
Yeah.
And smarts.
And skill with the lightsaber.
Yeah. So, that's a good point. I haven't even thought about that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on.
Okay.
Third thing that I loved, and this is, I mean, I love this. Han Solo's sacrifice in The Force Awakens. That just hits me in my feels. I know
where you're going with this.
That hits me in my feels every time. And then it just gets way better. In The Rise of Skywalker, and you're sitting there in theater, and all you hear is, "Hey, kid."
Yeah.
I lost it. I started crying. I'm not gonna lie.
And they say the same words.
I know, and then he's Kylo. At this point,
that's making me emotional too. Right now, I'm just thinking about it.
At this point, Ben tries to tell his dad that he loves him. He can't get it out because he's so emotional, and Han says, "I know."
Yeah.
Oh, that hurt. Great stuff. I mean,
and then he throws his lightsaber. Yeah.
Kind of bummed about that. I mean, I wish I could see that some more. But and that sacrifice in The Force Awakens sticks with him throughout. I mean, it sticks with him immediately in The Force Awakens. He's sitting there on that platform and he's like thinking to himself as he falls down. You could see it on his face. Like, do I regret this or do I not?
Yeah.
And then Chewie shoots him, and then he like regains focus.
Yeah.
And he kind of forgets it for a second. But then while he's out there again in the forest fighting Rey and Finn, you can tell that he's thinking about it. And then throughout The Last Jedi, it's something that's haunting him, and that even adds more to his connection with Leia, because that's his last parent, and he's probably thinking to himself,
"That's his mom.
Can I kill my mom?" After I've killed my dad, I'll be completely alone after that. Gosh. And then, like I keep saying, Rise of Skywalker, the way that Han comes back, figment of his imagination, whatever you want to call it, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And
they got that right.
Loved that scene. And
they got
so many chills. So many chills in theater when I saw that. And to this day, when I watch it, I still get emotional. And the placement of that scene is so perfect, too, because immediately after that, you see Rey throw the lightsaber into the fire, and Luke's hand reaches out and grabs it, and that hits you in the feels.
Yeah.
And then he picks up his old X-Wing with the Yoda music from Empire Strikes Back playing in the background, and that hits you in your feels. And at that point, you can't even see the screen because your eyes are so wet.
Yeah.
So yeah,
100%.
I know I was talking about Han Solo there for a second, but that entire segment in The Rise of Skywalker, I'm going to throw into the loved about the sequel trilogy list. That was just incredible.
Yeah, agree.
Han Solo, you're the man. He will always be my number one favorite character. And I'm sure when I become a dad one day, Lord willing, those scenes will even hit harder.
Oh, yeah.
And again, I know we kind of touched on this earlier as far as like generational kind of stuff with Star Wars. I feel like my perspective on these films will probably change the more I go throughout life. Like, I might understand Luke Skywalker's point of view in The Last Jedi more as I get kind of older and grumpier, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know I'm completely going off topic there, but yeah. I loved Han Solo, loved his sacrifice in The Force Awakens, and loved his return in The Rise of Skywalker. All right. I'm glad we're back in positive land. This feels good. Okay. Fourth thing on my list for things I loved. The lightsaber duel in The Force Awakens between Rey and Kylo, where we first see that connection. The Luke reveal in The Last Jedi whenever you find out that he was force projecting himself. And the lightsaber duel on Death Star 2 in The Rise of Skywalker. Those three events, probably my favorite in the sequels.
Death Star 2 in the
remains of Death Star 2 when Kylo and Rey are fighting.
Okay.
One of my favorite moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever she stabs him, because he can feel Leia passing away.
Yeah.
That hit. Again, we're back to that segment. Boom, boom, boom. Tears, tears, tears.
Yeah. Yeah, and he could tell that that Rey is turning from light and seeking more of the dark. And it's reflecting on him what he is in the dark, and he doesn't like it. That's when he starts to not like who he is in the dark because he's seeing what she's becoming in the dark.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let me backtrack to The Force Awakens lightsaber duel. I want you to think back to 2015 when we were in theater.
Yeah. Long time ago.
It feels like it. You see.
No, it is. 5 years.
That's true. You see Kylo reach out to get the Skywalker saber, and it's shaking. It's wiggling.
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking, what's going on?
What's going on? Is he going to get it?
Again,
or is it?
Put yourself back in the movie theater 2015, and you see the lightsaber whip around. Rey catches it, and the Force theme hits. Nothing beats that feeling that I got in theater. Because in that moment, Star Wars was back.
Yeah.
And Star Wars was relevant, and everyone, for the most part, at the time with The Force Awakens, was positive and pumped. People were all on board, and I honestly put all of that on that one moment. I'll give the film was incredible in my opinion, but I think that one moment put the cherry on top in The Force Awakens, and that got people invested, almost probably too invested to where there was so much backlash in The Last Jedi. But anyway, I loved that. I will say the Luke reveal in The Last Jedi, I thought it was super cool. I mean, that's as Jedi as you can get doing that move. I will say, though, the only thing that bothered me was you can't really tell. I was taken out of the scene when I saw him use the Skywalker blue saber because I knew that it had just gotten broken. Yeah. So the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, this doesn't make sense.
That's another thing.
I was like, this is
another little thing.
This is a complete error in the department of whatever controls that, because we literally just saw this lightsaber blow up, and now you're telling me that it's there. Like, that's a complete screw up, whoever did this scene. But then it's revealed that he was just portraying himself, which makes me question, like, why was he using that saber? And I know Rian Johnson said the reason why he looks that way is he's projected himself to the way that Kylo last saw him, to where it would get a reaction from him.
Yeah.
But even then, the last lightsaber that he saw him with was the green one. Yeah. So that throws me off still. But anyway, we're positive. We're positive right now, man. Okay. We're positive.
Okay.
I thought the Force power was super cool.
I wanted to say something salty about that.
The Force power was super cool.
Yeah.
Maybe execution could have been better, like we're saying. But and I loved the sacrifice that he makes. I just kind of wish that it had held off one more movie, because I was pumped that Luke Skywalker was finally back, acting like himself, and then he fades away. Because I thought, and I've said this before, I think if you make the decision to keep Luke Skywalker alive at the end of The Last Jedi, I think people would have liked it more, because they would have known that, okay, we got through that difficult stage with Luke Skywalker, but he's going to be back in Episode 9 as the Luke Skywalker that we've known and loved. And I feel like just that one thing might have changed the perception on that film. So, yeah. I loved the lightsaber duel in The Force Awakens, the Luke reveal in The Last Jedi, and the lightsaber duel on Death Star 2. They got the lightsabers and the big action scenes. They got those down. And like you said earlier, Rey and Kylo versus Snoke's guards, I think that can be thrown in the mix there too.
Yeah. What do you mean you think? As if maybe.
I know it can be thrown into the mix on that as well. All right, last thing that I have on my loved list, and that is simply the planet Exegol. I loved that planet, and I wish we could spend more time there. We kind of touched on it earlier. I do get Lord of the Rings kind of vibes when we're there, even in The Rise of Skywalker a little bit. You just get that dark, eerie feel, like ghosts are surrounding you and everything. And the opening scene of The Rise of Skywalker, where Kylo is first introduced to Palpatine, incredible. I still get chills. I just love the planet. Kind of wish we could stick around there longer, get more explanation behind all those dark Sith Lords out there, and just everything going on there. Like, I hope that rumor of a film being focused on the planet Exegol is true, because I want to go back. That was probably my favorite planet throughout the sequels. Do you like Exegol? Are you okay with Exegol, or do you think it's your favorite planet of the sequels?
It might be.
It's mine, I think. 100%, unless I can...
All the planets. I think I like Jakku.
Yeah, it's just kind of
something
we've seen
before. Really, I do, because it's where it all started, And it's where you see, Finn, he starts... You know what I love? I love Finn in what's it?
The Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah. No, not that one.
Oh, The Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
on
your
Finn
love list?
That one. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on your love list that I haven't hit before we move on to our wishes? And we'll try not to spend as much time on the wishes. We can try to wrap this up, but...
I love Blorgs.
The what?
The Blorgs.
The Blorgs.
Yeah, the little penguin things.
Oh, the Porgs. Oh, yeah, Disney Nature. I forgot about that. Or Star Wars Nature.
Yeah.
The TV show idea that you pitched a couple weeks ago. Go back and listen to that episode if you haven't. If you want to hear a crazy Star Wars TV show idea. I kind of just spoiled it, but no, they wouldn't.
You would love it.
I mean, no, they wouldn't.
Yeah, you would love it.
If it's simply focused on Porgs, no.
No, I mean like an episode for the creatures of each planet.
Don't go into too much detail. People out there, if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to the craziness that is. I believe the title literally says Jacob's crazy Star Wars idea. And crazy's in all caps.
You would watch it.
I mean, yeah, it's got Star Wars on it.
Yeah. And you would learn more about Star Wars creatures.
Anyway, man. All right. Anything else that you loved about the sequels?
I loved Yoda showing up.
Ooh, I forgot to even mention that.
Uh-huh.
In The Last Jedi?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was a good scene. Very good scene.
And I actually did love how the voices of all the Jedi past they showed up. And,
I need to start typing in my wish list. I completely forgot about that.
Well, people can say, well, I wish that they were there manifest as Force ghosts.
Dude, that's me. Then you're literally trying to mock me.
Yes, I am. Because, there are just as many Jedi past as there are stars in the galaxy, and that's why they did the shot like that.
That's an interesting point. Do you know that star shot is the star shot from A New Hope? That was their way of paying homage to the very first one.
What do you mean?
After the crawl has run through the stars that are in A New Hope, that was the image they used.
They're in that exact same pattern?
Yep.
Nuh-uh.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So all those Jedi that are up there in the stars in A New Hope, those are the same Jedi up in those stars in the Rise of Skywalker.
Whatever.
Except maybe there's probably 2 or 3 added there for Obi-Wan and Anakin and Yoda.
Yeah.
You probably got 3 more stars plotted up there because they were missing.
They could have fused together in space.
Yeah. Yeah, to create one huge giant Force star. Man, the ideas you come up with,
What are you talking? Well, I love that scene.
I mean, I do too. Yeah. Yeah. But you mocked me, so I don't want to add to it. Anything else?
I wish you would have been Force.
Dude, I'm sorry. And we're getting negative again. But there's no way that the Skywalker saga, which is really a story about Anakin Skywalker, shouldn't have had Hayden Christensen in the stupid sequels.
But he was. His voice was there.
Sorry, the sequels aren't stupid. I'm just getting heated again. His voice was there, I guess. Yeah. So I guess.
So was Ahsoka's?
Yeah, all of them were. I just wanted to see him. Any other loves?
Just the whole thing,
Yep.
The whole thing.
You love the whole thing.
Yeah.
Despite the
negatives.
I feel you. I mean, I love them, and I'll continue to watch them till the day I die. All right, let's get into the things that we wish were in the sequels. This is our final segment as we are reflecting on the sequels. Before we do that, though, in the comments, on social media, at Mando Talk, wherever, if you want to reach out to us, let us know the things that you love about the sequels. Also, let us know the things that you possibly hated about the sequels. Do that, and we'll talk about it. We'll comment back. We'll have a discussion, and we'll have fun with it. So let's continue to do that if you feel the need to communicate about Star Wars with awesome people. All right, let's move into the wish segment. These are things.
Communicate.
These are the things that we wish were in the sequels. And again, I mean, let's not spend as much time on this because I don't like to focus on things that could have been. I mean, we got what we got, and we should just focus on that.
We've already talked a lot about what could have been.
So first thing that I wish was more details in Ben's fall to the dark side. I know we get that one little scene in The Last Jedi, but again, because I'm such a huge fan of Adam Driver and Kylo Ren, Ben Solo in general, I wanted to see more on that. And I know it's never going to happen because of Mark Hamill's age, but again, I would still love to see like a prequel to the sequels where we get...
I just thought of another thing that I loved randomly.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
The flashback to Luke and Leia when they were young.
In The Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good scene. I agree. But yeah, more details on Ben's fall to the dark is my first thing. And I don't think these are ordered in like which ones I wanted to see the most, but more detail on his fall.
One thing I wish, which we've already covered, is just that there would have been more of a hint that Sidious was behind everything.
Right.
Like in, say, The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I agree. And that's not something on my list. So, yeah, we wish that...
There you go.
We wish that we would have gotten more hints about Palpatine lurking in the background.
We also wish that Finn would have turned out to be a Jedi in training.
Hold on. All right, let's go ahead and hit that. I do have that on the list. I have Finn becoming a wingman Jedi with Rey. I feel like that would have been cool. And we did kind of already talk on that. So let's not spend some more time on that. It would have been awesome to see.
At least.
Or let's spend some more time on it. Let's go. I'm fine with it. I'm here all night. Let's go.
Learning
Star Wars.
Star Wars. At least learning how to use, basic Force abilities. Maybe not going so far as to building his own lightsaber, because that takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
But at least, like, Force push or something like that, or, mind tricks.
Yeah. And while you said that, I thought of something else I loved.
What?
Rey's lightsaber. And I know that's a small detail, but yeah. Yeah.
Me too.
We wanted to see Finn become at least a beginning rookie Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
At least. All right. Next thing that I have on the list. Again, we've kind of touched on Luke Skywalker being Luke Skywalker with his green lightsaber. I have that on the list. Again, if you end The Last Jedi keeping him alive, and we see that in the final film, I think a lot more people would have been happy. But it is what it is. I mean, and honestly, I'm not extremely upset about that one. I mean, we had 3 films to focus on Luke Skywalker. I get that. And I get that we have new characters that we need to focus on for the sequels. 100% agree with. But, I mean, come on now. Throw that in there for the loyals out there.
Yeah.
It is what it is. All right, next one's kind of similar. But this is probably one of the biggest missed opportunities to me. The original trio being back together again.
I knew you were going to say that eventually.
I mean, you got... And I get with their age, you couldn't focus on them for an entire trilogy. That's not what I was asking for or hoping for. But there should have been somehow they should have gotten those 3 back on screen, in the flesh, not through projection or anything, together. And I don't know how it would have been done, but it's just hard for me to fathom them not coming up with a way to do that. You know what I mean? And that was, when The Force Awakens was announced, that was probably the number one thing that I was looking forward to.
But then Han wouldn't have sacrificed himself in The Force Awakens.
I mean, he still could have done that. They could have just met before.
In The Force Awakens?
Yeah.
That's a lot to take place in one movie.
I guess. And it was probably more so just me with expectations going into the film.
Yeah.
Hoping to see those 3 together again somehow. We just didn't get it. And again, I don't really want to dwell on the things that we didn't get. But feel like that's a huge missed opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't really agree.
Okay.
Or
that's
feel
fair.
so strongly about that one.
We'll share why. If
Me?
you don't, if you don't mind, share
because
why
I
you
feel
feel
like,
that way. So maybe you'll convince me.
I feel like the plot might not have moved along as well if we didn't have Han sacrificing himself in The Force Awakens.
Yep.
And we didn't have Rey finding Luke at the end of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the plot might have been stuck where you wouldn't have gotten as much character growth in Kylo Ren.
That's fair. That's a fair point. I
Yeah.
get that. I still think we should have gotten it somehow, some way, even if it was a flashback or something.
And you also wouldn't have, in The Last Jedi, you wouldn't have like the whole, well, also in the Force Awakens, you wouldn't have the whole deal with them trying to find Luke, because it would already be done halfway through The Force Awakens, right?
Yeah, that's
true. So then what?
That's a good point.
You know?
Yeah.
And then how would Rey train if they're not on that planet?
Yeah, I mean, I get all that. I get that 100%. And I'm fine with what we got. I just still feel like it was something that they could have found somewhere to do somehow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, I mean, again, it is what it is, and let's move on. All right, the last thing that I have, and, man, I was so excited for this because I thought it was going to happen. I read reports that it was going to happen. It didn't happen. I thought that we were going to get Luke and Rey battle Kylo and Snoke in The Last Jedi. I thought that would have been super cool, and Snoke didn't even have to use a lightsaber. I think it would have been cool for him to just, like, manipulate the Force, and Luke figure out a way to maneuver that.
Yeah.
Because I believe the report or rumor that I saw that got me going whenever The Last Jedi was coming out, as far as that battle goes, is I believe people were saying that it happened on Ahch-To, where Luke was. That they sent a First Order fleet there because they found out that Rey and Luke were there.
Oh, yeah.
And so in that moment, Luke and Rey team up, and they go against Kylo and Snoke. And I just felt like that was something that would have been super epic. And that's something that the sequels don't really do. I know in the originals it doesn't happen either. Originals, it's just 1v1.
Mm-hmm.
Prequels, definitely not. You get 2v1, 2v2, and so on. And I feel like maybe we could have somewhere in there had a 2v2 or 2v1 or something along those lines. But we just didn't really get it. And I'm not really extremely upset about that. That's just something that I wish we could have seen. Because, again, I love Snoke. I thought he was super interesting.
2v10?
Kylo and Rey versus guards.
Yeah.
I want lightsabers clashing, though. You feel me?
They're close enough, though.
Oh, come on now. You can't be a lightsaber if you're not a lightsaber. They're completely. Unless you're a dark saber.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were the things that I have on my list as far as wishes, and I'm sure being the Star Wars fan that I am, I could come up with a bunch more, but those were just the ones that I thought of as I kind of went through these notes, and I jotted some things down. Is there anything else that you kind of wish that we would have seen or happened or planted or
I think
anything,
we've already
really?
Talked about a lot of mine.
Yeah.
Just throughout. With
okay.
Maz and continuity and
that's fair.
More clarity beforehand with Palpatine and
100%. Yeah.
Maybe Luke being a little more like in it somehow.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And when I said planet earlier or just now, it made me think I kind of wish we had gone back to Jakku somehow.
Yeah.
Just to see like Rey's growth. Like we see her first on Jakku in The Force Awakens, and I think it would have been cool for her to go back as a Jedi Master, I guess, at this point.
Well,
to see how she kind of interacts with it.
instead.
Oh, I know. And I loved that
place
scene.
Where it all kind of really started.
Right, and that was more
with Anakin.
That was more
you know?
Homage to the entire
Oh, yeah.
Saga. So I get that. Just as far as like Rey's journey, I think it would have been cool to go back to Jakku. But again, that's not really something that's big for me. I just think it would have been pretty cool to see. All right. Those of you listening, again, let us know what you wish would have been in the sequels. Again, YouTube comment it or social media. Let us know. All right.
Yes, sir.
What we're going to do to end this, I just thought it'd be real quickly because we focused on the sequels a lot. Real quickly, I wanted me and you to rank these 3, just ignoring the rest of the saga.
Yeah.
Just looking at these 3 films alone. Just rank them real quickly from 3 to 1. I want you to go first. You don't have to give reasoning because I feel like we've gone into a bunch of different things.
Oh, yeah, a bunch of our reasoning.
Let's just name the 3 movies from worst to first. To kind of wrap all this up.
From least favorite to most favorite?
Right. Yeah, let's not say worst because, again, I enjoy all of these films. I enjoy all 3 of these films. They all have positives. They all have some negatives.
Yeah.
So from least favorite to most favorite of these 3.
Okay. Okay. The Last Jedi.
Least.
Yep.
Okay.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
And A Force Awakens.
Okay.
The Force Awakens.
A Force.
A Force.
All right.
We don't know which Force, but it's a Force.
So let me follow that up with mine. Least favorite, The Last Jedi. The Rise of Skywalker. And then favorite, The Force Awakens. Okay. We're right on the money. Just to quickly
Great minds think alike.
Just to quickly give that some justification. Again, The Force Awakens just reintroduced Star Wars, and it was an incredible feeling to be back. And
it was off to a great start, you know?
Yeah.
Like Finn and Rey and everyone.
Yeah. And I will say this as my justification for The Rise of Skywalker being second, and I'll kind of end it there. I just feel like there was a bunch of satisfying moments in that film.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're just sitting there and you're like, ooh, that feels nice. That's right. That's good stuff. So, yeah, that's probably why I put it in there second. And that's not me hating on The Last Jedi at all. Again, I enjoy the film. That's just kind of my ordering on those 3. Let us know what your ordering is. I think, honestly, that might be the coolest thing to get out of this. Let us know your order of sequel trilogy films from least favorite to most favorite on YouTube or on our social medias. And we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. So follow us on those social medias at Mando Talk on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, there is one thing that I need to address. Next week is 4th of July. July 3rd is on Friday, which is Fridays are usually the nights that we get together and we record the podcast. But we are going to take next Friday off to enjoy the holiday, to kind of refresh. And I know I haven't taken some time off, so this is going to be interesting, getting a Friday and not recording. But I will say this. If for some reason something huge drops, news piece-wise, I will quickly, probably by myself alone, because I'm giving everyone else next week off. I'll probably just real quickly talk about it if something huge drops.
Yeah.
Like, and when I say something huge, I mean like a season 2 Mandalorian trailer.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not something big, we're going to take next week off. So, those of you listening, if you're like, oh man, that stinks, go back and listen to all the Mando Talk episodes out there, especially if you're a new listener. Catch up on some ones that you missed. Go back and, like we said earlier, listen to the reviews that we gave The Mandalorian. Yeah. And again, that's our main focus on this podcast, but we just enjoy getting together and talking Star Wars, so we're going to keep this thing going until Season 2 of The Mandalorian hits.
And then we're going to pick back up right where we left off.
Exactly. So continue to check us out. And again, I'll say it again to remind you, we will take next week, July 3rd, off, so you will not be getting a Mando Talk episode next week unless something huge comes down. Jacob, thank you for being here.
Yeah, it was good to be here again.
Absolutely. Have a happy 4th of July. to everyone out there. Again, thank you to all of our listeners and all of our supporters. And we're going to go ahead and get out of here. And I will go ahead and do the honors and say that we have spoken. Deuces.